Hello, my name is Loli M, and this is my channel. And welcome all of my community, my tribes, and everyone that subscribe to my channel, and also for the ones that come and look but don't subscribe. But thank you anyway. I am trying to get 500 subscribers, so uh, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for supporting me. I am Loli M, and this is my life, and this beautiful lady beside me is my Mija.
Hi.
So,
Hola.
hola, hola, precioso. Mija,
Mhm.
¿cómo está?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, continúa.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the Father's Day. This is a Father's Day tribute.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. This is a Father's Day tribute, and thank you for coming.
Okay, so the card.
Yes,
Okay, so this is the
please.
Father's Day card to my grandfather, your father. So it says any man can be a father, but it takes a special person to be a dad. Happy Father's Day. And that's what it looks like there. And then on the inside, it says, Happy Father's Day, Grandpa. This is for me. I hope you're celebrating in heaven with all the other amazing dads. And then my mom said, You will always be my hero, your baby girl. That's what it says on the inside. And that's the front of the card.
Yeah, so this is a tribute to him. Uh, I'm going to talk about my father now, and I would like my daughter to chime in anytime she has something to say to Papa.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call them. Uh, so this is so difficult for me because I miss him so much. He was my protector, my hero, my mentor. He was everything to me because I had a very hard, harsh, abusive childhood coming up. I never understood why, but I I did. And the thing of it is that none of my brothers and sisters really liked me, and or my mother. And I didn't understand why, because I was a very quiet, retrospect, introspective child. Uh, uh, I spent a lot of time alone by myself and with my father. And I didn't talk much, and I had problems. I stammered, I had dyslexia, uh, and all of that, and I didn't understand why I was that way and afraid of people, but it was because of the abuse from my family and my mother most of all. And my father had a hard time also too. And it was like we were the black sheep, and all of my brothers and sisters hated him. And I didn't understand why, because when we were together, he was the most kindest and understanding person I had ever known. And but I remember one time when um, we were at his sister's house. My aunt, I call her my favorite aunt because she was such a kind person, and she always wanted to feed us. We come, yeah, she always wanted to feed us. She was very kind, the lady could cook. Wow, she could cook. So could my dad, better than my mom. And we would come over her house always after church because it was on our way home. And we would come and we would talk about different things and everything, mostly him and uh, my aunt. And she would have like fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and her famous cake that melted in your mouth. It was delicious. And every time we'd come, she'd say, "Oh, come on in here, come on in here. I'm going to fix your plate." And then my dad would say, "No, no, no." And she said, "Yes, yes, yes, yes. Come on in. I know you're hungry. I know you're hungry. I'm going to fix your plate." And he used to say, "No," she said, "yes." The more he said no, the more she said yes. And of course, she wanted out because she was the oldest and she raised them. So she fixed the plates and give us dessert afterwards, and then we stayed and for a little while and talk, and then uh, watch TV. And Dada would say, "Well, we have to go because we still have to cook, you know." And I remember one time um, my mama said something, and then my aunt said, uh, "You're so mean." And she said her name. And I still remember that because I was thinking to myself, she is mean. You just don't know how mean, Auntie, And I didn't say anything. I just let it go. But she would tell the truth. Even though she didn't know the truth, she could see it in my mother, her spirit in her. She could see it and feel it because she was a very kind and spiritual person. And a lot of times she would at home, she would yell at my dad and curse at my dad. And
You're supposed to talk about what you liked about Grandpa. Good thing.
yeah, well,
Not
good
about
thing
Grandma.
I'm
Grandpa.
coming.
Okay.
Yes. I'm trying to explain how he suffered also too, and how we came together, and how they was kept saying his favorite, and
Okay.
which uh, was not so much the case,
Mm-hmm.
but because we only had each other,
Mm-hmm.
we was like, what do you call it, estranged from the family,
Mm-hmm.
that we didn't have anybody else. So, because I was abused and he was abused, and a lot of times he would warn me, "Don't do that, you know, your mom, be careful,"
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I said, "Okay, Daddy, okay, okay." And then I still get punished for what a lot of times I didn't understand or knew why. Uh, and then I remember one time, and this was so funny. My daughter probably remember me telling her that we went fishing one time, me and my daddy, and it was so much fun. And I remember it had rained, and I remember the creek that was close to our house was over, not really over flooded, but brimming to the sides, and blah, 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 the wild bubble. So I was sort of scared, but my Papa wasn't. He said, "We're going fishing. I'm going to show you how to fish." And so we went out there and we waited for a little while. The next thing you know, we got a bite. It was no bigger than my hand, but
Right.
it was a fish. We got a fish, like he said.
Yeah.
And he said, "Now we're going to go to the house. I'm going to show you how to clean it and fry it up." And I said, "Okay, Daddy, okay." I was real young. I think maybe like 10 or 9 or something like that. I don't know where everybody else was, but yeah. But I remember before we went fishing, and he said, "I'm going to show you how to get the worms
Mm-hmm.
for the fish." And so he said, "Hold this." And I had the fishing thing rod, the
Mm-hmm.
fishing rod. Yeah. And so he was digging, and we was in the boat, and he knew where to go
Mm-hmm.
to get the worms.
Right.
And so he said, "Oh, this is a good spot right here. This is a good spot. Hold the rod." And so he started digging. And so I was waiting for him, and I was like that, and had the rod in my hand and slinging, so I didn't realize that the rod, the, what do you call it?
The hook.
The hook
Mm-hmm.
had came loose from the rod. And all of a sudden, I heard my papa holler my name. And I turned around and I just dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
The hook had gotten into his nose.
Oh my God.
And I was scared to death. My eyes was big as a saucer.
Right.
He said, "That's okay, that's okay. It's all right, it's all right."
Right.
And he was worried about me, and I'm worried about him. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He said, "That's okay, that's okay." And so he slowly took it out of his nose. He was bleeding a little bit, but he was okay. And I looked at him and I said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." He said, "That's okay, that's okay." So we finished up and everything. He was sort of smiling. And then that's how my dad was. He wasn't angry. He
Mm-hmm.
was smiling,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Wow, that's amazing." And then afterwards we went and we caught the fish, went back home, put the rod up, and then my dad, he had this sound he always made. And he said, "Now we're gonna cook." He said, "I'm gonna show you how to cook." I said, "Okay, Papa, okay." And so he uh, put the fish in the sink, and then he boiled the water, because with catfish you have to use hot water to. They don't have scales, but they have
Mm-hmm.
this slimy skin that you have to take off, and you have to use hot water to take it
Mm-hmm.
off.
Okay.
And so he was showing me that and explaining to me about that. And after he got the skin off, he rinsed it off, uh, and he seasoned it,
Mm-hmm.
and he floured it, and then he fried it up. And he said, "Now we're gonna have some good cooking." And he had me smiling, from ear to ear. He made my daughter smile a lot too, from ear
Mm-hmm.
to ear. He was such a loving father. And then after he cooked it and everything, then he got some bread, and he said, "Now we can go and eat up." And so he shared it with me and gave me a plate and him a plate. He said, "Okay, now eat, eat." And then he started I started eating it, and he started eating it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, Papa, this is good. He said, I told you that, yeah, catfish is really good. He kept talking to me and telling me stories
Mm-hmm.
about when he was young and growing up with my aunt, because my aunt raised him
Mm-hmm.
from when he was 13, and she taught him how to cook. That's why he knew how to cook, really knew how to cook.
Okay.
And he could bake
Mm-hmm.
cakes
Mm-hmm.
and bread and everything. And I remember one other time, and this is really fun. You might know about this, but I was there, and I think my younger sister was home. I don't know where the others were. Seemed like when me and my dad was around each other, that the others, brothers and sisters, was conspicuously out of the picture,
Mm-hmm.
probably because they wanted to be. I don't know. But anyway, okay, he said that he was going to make a cake
Mm-hmm.
because we wanted some cake. And so he was putting everything together, the flour, the eggs, and all this and everything.
Right.
And he had a spoon in one hand and a bowl and around his arm like that. And then he used to smoke cigars. I like the smell of his cigars. But he was smoking a cigar. And he was beating so heavy
Mm-hmm.
that the cigar, the tip of
Mm-hmm.
the cigar, I think they call it soot or whatever,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
fell off into the cake.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, I burst out laughing. So did
Ew.
my little sister and my dad. He took the cigar out of his mouth and he was laughing too. All three of us was laughing because of that. It was so funny. He was laughing. It's like, okay, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
gotta start over again. And we were just laughing. But after he did that
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the oven,
Right.
and cooked it. It tastes just like my aunt's cake. It is
Good.
big sister's cake.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the kind of things that I remember about him.
Mm-hmm.
My father never punished me for anything. He was always kind to me. He always there for me. Uh, everything. And even when after he died, he still was there for me because it was hard for me. And I didn't get any support really. It was like I came from college, and as soon as I came from college, I was just thrown in, feet first. I
Mm-hmm.
had to get a job. I had to do all this, but I was glad to be there for my daughter because I loved her and do love her very much, and my father did too. But I remember, and this is a true story. Uh, I was my daughter was 5, and I remember that she was in the back room, and she could was able to, hmm, how do you say it? She was a quiet little thing, and she could play by herself
Mm-hmm.
or with others. It didn't matter. She still had that um, old soul kind of mood about her, and she never cried. Okay, and so I was in the living room on the sofa. I'm almost finished with his tribute, but I want to say this: that she was playing, and I was so sad and missing my papa that he, next thing you know, and I remember there was game show on, and that all of a sudden I didn't hear the sound. All of a sudden was a big, big, big bright light on the wall.
Mm.
Big bright light, and a person that was as bright as the light was, and I looked, it was my papa,
Mm.
and he was
Wow.
dressed the same way he was all the time after church, and with his white shirt on, sleeves rolled up,
Mm-hmm.
and his black striped pants on. And he came through the light, and I said, Papa. And he said, don't worry. And he said my name. Everything is going to be all right. And he turned around to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Papa, don't go. He turned back and looked at me. He said my name. He said, don't worry. Everything is going to be all right.
Wow.
And he turned. I woke up, and my daughter came into the living room. I think I was crying or whatever. And, that was the happiest yet saddest
Mm-hmm.
day of my life. But now I know that he is up there,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he's watching over us
Mm-hmm.
and protecting us and still loving us. So this is a tribute to you, Papa. And every year on your birthday and Father's Day, we're going to give you a tribute because remember you. We remember you, and you are a hero and our mentor. And you love us so much, and we love you. Happy Father's Day, Papa.
Happy Father's Day. Bye.